Hello and welcome to QuestLore, your family Lorcana podcast where each and every week we come and talk to you about all things Lorcana. I'm Matt.
I'm Emmett. I'm Malcolm.
And I'm Jen.
And we're back. Happy New Year. It's 2025.
Happy 2025.
Yeah, it's time for another year of Lorcana fun. We've been off for a couple of weeks with Christmas, and then we had a little vacation where we were out on a boat.
On a large ship.
It was a large boat. Had a ton of fun. And of course, we first need to cover all the news that happened with Lorcana while we were gone. And here it is, nothing. Nothing happened at all. No news, no words from Ravensburger. It's all been about people prepping for the North American Continentals. The last chance qualifier is happening as we speak. Round 3 is just ending. The only person we know personally that went did lose his third round match. So he's no longer in it, but he did. That means getting to the third round means he did get far enough to get like these turbo passes.
Turbo-tastic!
Which means he gets some more extra promos.
That's cool.
When he plays. So I think he's going to walk out with a full play set of the promos that you can get that aren't enchanted ones that you get from playing in the bigger tournament the next day. But he did well enough to get those, so he is happy with that. He's playing in a constructed tournament in just a couple hours, so he is having fun there. Tomorrow, Saturday, is the big Swiss round of the 96 players that do make it in the 2-game format, and then the best from that will go on Sunday. But while that is the big thing that's happening in Lorcana right now, we did manage to squeeze in a few games even while we were out on the Azurite Sea itself.
More like the Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico, it used to be called the Azurite Sea.
Oh, did it?
Something that you didn't know.
I see.
They had to change it to the Gulf of Mexico because Disney threatened to sue. So, interesting historical tidbit.
Non-fictional tidbits.
Yep.
It's not nonfiction if you believe it enough. Believe it here in your heart.
Not non-fiction.
Not non-fiction.
Yeah.
Not non-fiction.
Yes.
Malcolm finally figured it out.
So we went on a big family cruise with my whole side of the family, with their cousins, with my mom, with my brother, and his wife. So there were a bunch of us on the cruise. We had a big old 10-person party. Not the biggest party on the cruise. There were plenty of huge groups sailing around.
I think there was one 200-person group.
It felt like it,
yeah.
yeah.
It was
Tons
crazy.
of people getting married. It's like, it's New Year's. We need to get on a ship and we need to get married.
Yeah, but it was super fun. And one of the fun things that we did was our nephews, the boys' cousins, especially they're 13 and 7, and the 13-year-old really, really wanted to learn how to play Lorcana. He's played some Magic before, and so he was excited to learn. So we kind of played a 4-player match, and then had each of the cousins team up with one of them so that they could kind of learn.
The only reason why he won is because he was with the 7-year-old. Not true.
No, and Malcolm won with...
Because my deck has a card called Chip.
Yes.
And it has a card called Donald, and it has a card called Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, and it has a card called Go, and it has a card called...
White Rose?
Rose, and it has a card called Good Job, and it has,
Yeah.
Oh,
and the thing is, Matt and I thought we had him, and we forgot about Chip.
Yeah. We took into account what's on the board, but you can't take into account what is in the player's hand. We did enough to stop him. That's all we really could have done. There wasn't really anything else we could do. So we had enough to stop him from having Lorthel on board, but we can't account for the extra lore that he's going to have in his hand.
Also, I was playing my Mufasa deck with the 13-year-old, and he kept calling the what's her name? Oh wait, Mother Gothel, who takes damage at the start, old lady, and he kept forcing me
He's
to
like, play the old lady.
No,
or
he
goes,
kept
ink the old lady.
Ink the old lady. We don't need her.
Ink the old lady.
No one needs that old lady.
And I'm just like, and I have a Rapunzel in my hand, and I'm just like, dude, we have 6 eggs. We could play both of them at the same time.
He goes, oh, okay. But it was really fun. And then there was a few times when these boys were off playing in the arcade with their cousins, and Matt and I got a couple of one-on-one rounds playing off. And so I'm still playing I'm more of a traditional Steel Song deck, kind of. But Matt, why don't you tell them what you've been playing?
So I took up the Diggy Diggy Hole deck,
Diggy hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
made famous by Brian Candio. He recently won a 10K in Florida with the deck.
What's a 10K?
$10,000
$10,000 in prizes.
prizes.
Doesn't mean he won $10,000. That was 10,000 split up between like the top 8. Basically got 10,000 worth altogether. So it is a fun little deck that can switch from hyperspeed to more control-ish style and then back to hyperspeed. And it is something that you'll have to deal with going forward. It's definitely something that's out there. It's definitely something that can be well played.
It seems fun to play.
Yeah, I think the only issue it's had, and the reason why it wasn't popular sooner, so this was the deck that he chose to. He was one of the people that played in the Continental Challenge, right, where they had the different people from North America and Europe fighting against each other, and he lost a lot of games playing it. But when you look back at his playing, it's like he just drew badly, and it can happen. And he had and he lost die rolls and things like that. So it didn't seem like a strong deck, so people weren't trying it out. But then he won this 10K, and so now you're going to see it explode everywhere. So yeah, we played a couple of games, and then I am actually taking part in the Bonnie B Custom Design Tournament number 2 from the Labyrinth Discord, and I actually played one of those games on the boat.
When we were docked in
From
St.
the
Thomas.
pool, yeah, when we were docked in St. Thomas, when I had internet connection, like the one day I could squeeze it in.
Yeah, because St. Thomas is a U.S. Virgin Island, so Verizon Internet works.
Yes.
If you have a Verizon plan, so.
So it was. I had the whole 5G connection. I was up on the pool deck, playing against someone. There was a party going on in the background. I just was like apologizing the entire time, like I am so sorry. And they're like, we can't hear anything. Like, how can you not?
It's
There's
so
so
loud.
loud everywhere.
Like literally
There's
a
limbo contest
DJ
going
and
on.
DJ on the pool deck, and then it was crazy.
And then Jen's bringing me drinks.
Yes.
I'm sure that didn't help.
You
but
still won.
I still won.
So it clearly did help.
So I have to find that magic place.
Yes.
Of just a few drinks to make me loose enough to make the right decisions, but not too many to lose, because I think then I finished the drink and then played you and lost just horribly. And I was just like, I'll play these cards because they look pretty. So things didn't go that great after you hit. So there's definitely a magic number of drinks before I just fall off.
Yes. But I also think that like Steel Song is a pretty good match against Diggy Diggy Hole.
It is.
They're pretty
I think
even.
Steel Song is a very strong deck going into everything right now. It's definitely something to consider. Then me and Emmett, we did go back to our local league.
These two weren't feeling too well.
Yeah, we were a little bit under the weather the past few days, but we're finally starting to get back to normal today a little bit.
So we went to our best of 2 league yesterday. Emmett, how'd you do? Not that well. No. You ran into like Steel Song a couple of times.
I
is
ran
that
into
right?
Steel Song twice, and then on a Diggy Diggy Hole.
Yeah. But Diggy Hole. Oh no, you had to buy. You had to buy once.
Oh, I
you
bought.
did 2 Steel Songs, and then
buy.
you had to buy 2. Yeah, your deck has problems with Steel Song because they kill off your injured characters before you can have Rapunzel heal them.
Yep.
There's only 200 characters that start off injured.
Yeah, but that's how you draw your cards, with the injured characters. So if they're dead or not injured, like you can't heal them and draw more cards.
Right.
Here's one of my game plans if I don't get a with healing. Just so you know, this is if I don't get a cast on in my opening hand. Turn 1, play Mulan. Turn 2, play Mother Gothel. Turn 3, use what's her name?
Uma, say it louder.
No, it's Mirabelle's mom to revive the health off Mulan and draw a card. Turn 4, play Rapunzel to wipe off all of the Mother Gothel damage and draw 3 cards.
Yep. And that usually gives you enough to like start taking control of the game. But if they're killing your characters, not leaving damage stuff, then you're going to run into problems. I, however, on the other hand, went undefeated, 2-0 3 times.
Nice.
Against your 2 Steel Song people, using Diggy Diggy Hole. I am interested in trying another deck before Set Champs, but didn't have enough time to put anything together.
When is Set Champs?
Good question, Emmett, because that is the next topic. With Continentals this weekend, you're gonna see a bunch of decks out there, and next weekend, Set Champs start.
Dun, dun,
So
dun.
1 more week before Set Champs. So before we're gonna talk about the popular decks that you're probably going to see. Keep in mind, Continentals is this weekend, so you're going to have a lot of eyes on a lot of data, which means if there is something new, people will know about it and will
we'll play it immediately.
Whatever wins, expect to see that next weekend.
Yep.
Or expect to see the direct counter to that next
Yes.
weekend as people plan to. Everyone's going to play that.
Exactly.
So your best choice is whatever you know how to play best. Don't mess around.
Unfortunately, I will be out of town.
Yes.
I won't be able to play in the first weekend, so hopefully I'll be able to play some of the weekends after that.
Our Wednesday store league is having it the following Sunday.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
we'll be able to do that.
Amazing.
So we'll have
The 3 of them
hopefully
will
be
play.
able to have a chance to win some Scar cards, maybe even a playmat.
That'd be amazing.
But if you are new to Lorcana, you got a starter deck or something for Christmas. It's important to start practicing now. I know there are a couple of people that apparently have shown up at our regular Sunday store the past week or so that they're starting to practice more. Find ways to practice with your friends, go up to stores, take part in their league or their casual play nights, and start getting practice in now. And just, I know you might not know which decks to pick, but pick one now and just practice with it. Like, just find out a popular deck or a deck that you just like playing. Like, you played that once, you're like, I had fun. Maybe you didn't win, maybe you didn't lose, but you had fun. Practice with that deck.
And if you're not sure what you want to pick, or maybe you don't have, a lot of funds to try to buy a bunch of cards, because if you are just starting out and you don't have a couple $100 to throw down, you're not going to want to start with the Steel Song.
No.
Because it's a very expensive
Steel
deck
Song
to
is the
build.
most expensive.
So I would say, a lot of the, recent games, like you can find things on YouTube. Watch some of these better players playing. See what looks like it's fun to play. See what makes sense to you. If you are a new player, I definitely wouldn't start with anything Sapphire. Because that's a very complicated deck.
Or Steel, because it's expensive.
Steel's expensive, but then also be careful with some of the bouncing stuff with Amethyst. Like, you can do it, just make sure you get some good practice in. But those are probably the 2 hardest colors to play if you're a beginner.
That being said, if you're looking for, hey, what's the cheapest deck I can buy right now, an Amethyst deck, usually paired with either Steel or Ruby, or even Emerald, is going to be your best bet.
Sure.
Amethyst cards, like they're good. The good cards from Amethyst aren't legendaries. In Amber, it's a legendary.
Yeah.
In Steel, Steel, you can have your commons and uncommons are pretty good. You don't need the legendary ones to run it.
Sure.
But if you're doing Steel Song, you need those. Even the Ruby cards, the good ones, a lot of them aren't running any legendary cards. Like, it might be hard to find stuff like Maui and Be Prepared, but they were rare cards, so they're not as hard to find as it would be to find, say, Rapunzel. That's probably the one biggest stopping card. Like, whenever I'm building decks for us, it's like Rapunzel is always the one that's like, well, we can't all run this color because Rapunzel is the most valuable, like, regular card.
She is. But I will say though, like, if you can't find a Maui, like, the newer legendary Maui is still pretty good, and that's probably going to be a little bit easier for you to find.
Actually, that one's more expensive than the
never
Russian
mind
one.
then.
Yeah, the Russian one you can probably get for like $10.
Okay.
Shark Maui, while you can open packs and try to find it.
It's a legend.
Runs for about $30.
Oh, okay.
So Shark Maui is a little expensive, but so number one, just get some reps in now. Play what you're comfortable in, and go in there and just have fun. Make sure you know, like, what the pricing is for the store you're going to. We've been to some stores where you're paying $20 to enter, and basically, unless you make it to top 8, you're getting nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
there are
isn't great. I mean,
it's what the stores can do, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to make some money too. But there are some stores that will give you a pack or two at the very least, so you're not walking away empty-handed. So find out what the pricing is, and then when you're picking your stores you're going to, find out how they're playing, right? Maybe the store you go to normally does best of 3 every week, and then when it's a tournament they do the 2-game format, where if you win 2-0 you get 7 points, if you win 1 you get 3 points, if you win no games you get 0 points. So find out what they're playing, make sure that you're familiar with those rules. Emmett, what advice would you give to anybody for doing a first Set Champs?
I will give you the advice of, if you're a new player, don't do it.
no, that's terrible advice, Emmett.
That's really bad. I was so prepared for whatever sage wisdom was going to come out your mouth, and you're just like,
Don't do it.
don't do it. Don't mess with me.
Okay, fine. Look, I didn't really. Okay, now I have something very, very, very good.
Okay, can't wait.
So, here's what you need to do. All you need to do is get in top 8, get a card, then leave.
All right, more sage wisdom from Emmett. Either don't do it or go in there and win.
No in between.
Malcolm, how about you?
Or play Bucky and win everything.
You
Or
can't
Bucky.
You can't do that anymore. He doesn't win anything. Malcolm, what's your number one piece of advice?
Bring food.
Yeah, snack,
Yeah.
snack.
Make sure you eat a bunch before and have a snack plan for the day of. Playing
And
cards.
water, hydrate.
Yes, water and snacks are a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how long some of these might go, right? So if you show up, and a lot of them will be 5 rounds, which means probably 5 hours of playing at a minimum, and then you could go into top cut. So you'll have your 5 regular rounds, and then the top 8 players will go on to play against each other for the mat. So you could be there up to 8 hours. So have a snack plan in place. Eat beforehand. While it is mostly just sitting, it does make you hungry because you are using that brain to make
Yes.
the right plays.
Thinking makes you hungry.
Yes.
And not only that, but if you're going to a new store you haven't been to before, check out the Google Maps. See if there's anything around that you can DoorDash to, or if you get a buy around that you can run out and grab something.
We're very lucky because, number one, our place that we play cards is,
Also a restaurant.
what's it called?
It's a
sushi
noodle
shop?
house.
Noodle house, yeah, noodle house.
Yes.
And right next door is the one, the only Yellow M. Sadly, Ronald McDonald is dead.
What?
Ronald McDonald is dead.
What? No, he's
McDonald's!
He's not. What?
Ronald McDonald.
He's not.
He's not dead.
He's a mascot. Like, why do you think he's dead?
Because the person who played him is dead.
Like originally maybe, but he's a mascot.
Like, the guy that voiced Kermit the Frog is dead. That doesn't mean Kermit's dead.
Actually, technically he is because Muppet Vision died.
Muppet Vision is still there. You can go see it right now.
Dad, spoilers.
What?
What?
Why is that a spoiler?
Because Kermit's actor died.
He died like 20 years
That's not a
ago.
spoiler. That's a fact. It's like saying, I can't say who won World War II because it could be a spoiler.
Or like who won like the first presidential election ever.
Yeah.
Spoiler, it was George Washington.
Yeah. Hey, spoiler, since you're in history, we've landed on the moon. That's not a spoiler.
All right, anyway,
Anyways.
so my piece of advice is go in with a positive attitude. Most of the people that play Lorcana do go in with a positive attitude. They may get frustrated at times, but they're there to have fun. Every once in a while, we've played people who aren't there necessarily to have fun. They're just there to win. And when they lose, they kind of make everybody have a spoiled attitude.
Yeah.
So go in with a positive attitude. If you lose them all, you lose them all. I've gone to tournaments where I lost my first 3 rounds.
Think positive!
And somehow, still made it in the top 8.
Yeah.
So, like, because a whole bunch of people dropped.
Yep.
And then, like people that won their first 2 rounds just
Drew out the
rest of the
thinking they were
time.
safe.
And then I ended up, or I think I lost, and then drew, and then I won the next 2-0. So I ended up having enough points.
Yeah.
With 20 points or 20, or whatever, to move on, and I got into top 8.
Yes.
And
You're never fully out of it.
so.
So practice with your deck, right? Like we're probably all sticking with our decks. I'm going to bring something different on Sunday to play. I like Diggy Diggy Hole, right? I'm 3-0 right now in that tournament that I'm playing online. They're at a little bit of a break because of all the people that are at Continentals.
But those are all really experienced players that you're playing with.
Like they seem to be experienced, right? They're all getting the same knowledge I'm getting from that server. So, yeah. So that's the basics of it, right? Make sure you have snacks. Stay positive. Check out your store.
And according to Emmett, win or don't go.
Yeah, win or don't go, according to Emmett. Unless you're gonna win, don't even bother.
Don't listen to that.
Anyways, the other thing we wanted to talk about today are the main decks that you will see. You'll have to excuse Malcolm and Jen, and they've got colds they're getting over, so they're stepping away. Just deal with that while me and Emmett start covering some of the decks you're probably going to see this weekend. Now, as I said, your best place for information on what you're going to see is to pay attention to the Continentals that happen this weekend. They are being broadcast on Twitch, so you can catch them there. And you will see a few main types of decks. First, let's start with probably the one that's going to have the most representation, I think, in my mind, and that is Amethyst and Ruby. So
Yes.
Ruby Amethyst, right? It's a deck that has been around basically since the beginning. Those 2 color pairings.
Malcolm used to be a Ruby Amethyst.
Only for the first set. And then in the second set, Ruby Amethyst changed dramatically with the introduction of the bounce package. That's where you have Fox, that's where you have Snake, bouncing characters back to your hand. It is a really fun deck to play with. It is a deck I would recommend anyone to give a try that really wants to learn Lorcana, because I think learning Ruby Amethyst gives you a great foundation for playing Lorcana. It's a deck that is basically mostly a control deck, so it's trying to control the board. You've got things that can remove things from the other side of the board really easily with Brawl, with Maui, with Be Prepared, that wipes everything out and kind of resets it. Where I have found the biggest way to kind of deal with it is to either go fast, to kind of get under them before they're doing Be Prepared and before they're throwing down the big bodies that can remove your stuff really easily. Or what I found some success with Diggy Diggy Hole against it is to just keep throwing pressure at them with things like Lilo, Daisy, Smeeze, Calhoun's, not Calhoun's, Lawrence's, right? I'm constantly throwing pressure at them. While they do have a lot of removal, they only have so much, and they do have to keep drawing it and using it. Once they've used it, I'll just bring back the Lilos again. Like, the Lilos just never die, and they're always there, right?
Yeah, and that deck is too, it counts on the bouncing aspect, and if you remove the stuff that they want to bounce back to their hand, then it really takes away their gameplay.
Yeah. The next one you're going to see probably the most is Amber Steel. But you're going to see one of 2 Amber Steels now, because that's probably going to be split almost down the middle. You're going to see traditional Steel Song, Jen's an expert at it, or you're going to see Diggy Diggy Hole.
Yep.
2 things that both of them do is their opening. I think it's probably the most powerful opening in Lorcana is to play Cinderella on turn 1.
Cinderella on turn 1, and then on turn 2, maybe play 2 1-drops if you get lucky, or I know we have different turn 2s, but my turn 2 is to play hopefully a Piglet, and then sing Storm or sing Strength to get rid of your opponent's first drop.
If you can, I'm telling you that basically, right, we say Cinderella, but a lot of people will say, well, no, I should play Daisy. But Cinderella is better because there is no card in the game that basically gives you 3 ink to play for free on your second turn.
Yep.
And you still get to use your 2 other ink that
Exactly.
you'll have that turn.
Exactly.
So that is 5 ink worth of resources you are using on turn 2.
Because even like rush cards that cost 2, they're going away. Because
Right.
usually they don't have a big defense.
Yes.
So Cindy is going to taking no damage, and now you don't have anything to even attack her with, unless you also have a song. So I would rather play either a Piglet or like 2 1-drops, like a Robin Hood and a Daisy, on my turn 2, rather than play Daisy on turn 1 if I have a Cinderella.
The one matchup that I would say go with the Daisy first would be against Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah.
The ramp decks where like you are incentivized to just finish the game.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say like if I know I'm playing either Sapphire or Emerald, and I know that, I usually will play the Daisy over the Cindy because they often don't play a character the first turn. Like Emerald will.
Yeah,
Emerald
has
will.
characters.
But if they're playing Sapphire, they're playing a popsicle, or they're playing an item usually on turn 1. They're not because they're more worried about ramping up their ink and not playing characters. So if I know I'm playing Sapphire, Cindy's going to make ink well.
Yeah. So if you have if you're up against either version of Amber Steel with traditional Steel Song, like the way you can identify it quickly is if they're doing any Robin Hood stuff or if they play an aerial. So by turn 3, you'll know like either they've inked a Robin Hood or they played an aerial or inked one of them or something like that. If you see those, then you know you're going up against traditional Steel Song, which means that their singers are their threats, and you need to try to remove them as soon as possible because they are going to sing a hailstorm of songs onto you and just make
A lightning storm of songs from
give you
Zeus.
a musical
He's making
demolition
up- he's making up
of your
Frozen
characters. So
Pale Frozen. He's making
I know he's doing Frozen, and I was doing Storm from Zeus.
sure.
Well, I'm gonna
Or
do
Lightning Storm.
punches from Mulan.
Either way,
My 1-drops, so let's see. One of them is
We're not really talking about Mufasa right now.
yeah.
No, we'll talk.
no, my 1-drops Daisy. We were talking about Daisy.
Oh, we were.
My 1-drops, I only have 2 different 1-drops. I have a child who's always hurt, and a duck who implies
If you're going up against Diggy Diggy Hole, you'll know by if they start inking things like a dwarf,
Yep.
or a mine. Sometimes you'll even see Sven in there getting inked. But they're going to play either a Cinderella, they're going to play Daisy Duck, you're going to see Calhoun. If you see Lilo, you know you're up against Diggy Diggy Hole, which means you need to try to just wipe out their board as much as possible before they can get too high of ink where they're just going to keep throwing out threats and threats and threats.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot you can do about the dock move of them playing a dock, drawing 2 cards, playing those 2 cards right away.
Yep.
So just be prepared to, you're going to have to keep removing stuff constantly. So don't leave yourself without the ability to remove any of their stuff because you're just going to need to keep removing it, keep removing it, keep removing it.
Yep.
They're just going
They're to keep having more cards.
They're just going to keep having cards, even when you think they don't have any. Then they all of a sudden have more. So tricky to play against. Up next, what you are going to see is Ruby Sapphire. This is a ramp deck that leads to control, where they are basically trying to spend their first couple of turns just getting more ink than they should have. I'm sorry, Emmett is pantomiming something here.
All right, just stop on it.
I am
Listen
not
again.
sure what. Oswald has defeated Gaston, and
Peach is playing with a
our
R2D2
cats are
mouse.
just playing. So anyways, Ruby Sapphire, it's a ramp deck. They're not going to do anything the first couple of turns, besides play a popsicle here or there, maybe play a small child to let them ink some stuff,
Yeah.
maybe play Sail the Azurite Sea
Yeah.
in order to get faster. Like, that's what they're going to spend the first few turns doing. It has changed a little bit since last set. So no longer will you usually see any Fishbone Quills. Instead, you will start seeing stuff like the Maui, and even Dines. They've some of them removed Dines too.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
They'll start playing the Maui Half Shark.
Yep.
Where they will get lore based on playing actions, and then you can't quest because if you quest, they challenge into you, get an action back, play it again, and just kind of whittle you down that way. And they have enough removal in there to take control of you.
Especially, and it's very frustrating because when it is Ruby, like they do have some nasty actions in there.
That Maui Shark, I swear to God, I hate him so much. Because I'm a character-only person. I have no non-characters. That's why Daisy is kind of worthless when it's being played against me. So when I ever see that, I start getting furious because I hate actions. That's why I don't play them.
You don't like accents?
He doesn't like actions played against him.
And that's why even if I have the ruby color, but if I have Maui Shark in my deck, it wouldn't fit.
That's right.
The weakness with that deck is that it can just die.
And it's also
quickly.
could be slow.
Like
Just,
it could be too slow,
It's way
and you
too
just
slow.
go under it really fast. If they don't get the cards that they need, you're in trouble. The biggest thing to watch out for if you are playing against it is Sisus. So either one of the Sisus. So they could have the human Sisu that removes one of your characters, it's a 1/1, or even the hand Sisu that gets strength equal to the opponent's hand. That it's that and 4.
and then the ice block too. They'll play it in the conjunction with the ice block to give one of your characters less strength so that when they play the Sisu, it goes away.
And the big thing about that is that they are playing those other Sisus so that they can shift the big Sisu
Exactly.
on top of that on turn
Which is
6.
nastier.
Which is hard to do. So if you are playing against them and they've got a Sisu on the board,
Get
you've
rid
got
of
to
it.
get rid of that Sisu. You've got to
Yes.
have a plan for the Sisu is what you need to have.
Yep.
No
Otherwise,
more
it's going to be a
dragons.
bad.
No more dragons.
No more dragons. No more dragons.
Yes, guys.
No more dragons.
The other popular decks you will run into occasionally.
Popular.
You will run into occasionally what these guys are playing. You'll have Hyper Aggro, Amber, Amethyst, where it's like just try to take care of it as soon as possible or hold on to your butts because the game's going to be over in like 10 minutes.
If that.
I mean, all together, all 3 games.
Oh, all 3 games. Yeah.
Or Mufasa is still pretty popular. Not super popular, but the Mufasa decks are. So they are using Amber to essentially get those big-bodied characters that Ruby has out early and get control of the board. And they've usually got some high questers that can do a lot of damage.
Yeah. It's because who's your
Guys.
favorite card to get out early, Emmett?
My favorite card to get out early is usually one of the 6 drops.
Isn't it this? But how do you get them out early? With this guy.
Gaston.
So what Gaston does is basically you play him on turn 3, and if you've ever played me before and you've questioned why I've been inking good stuff like Rapunzel, here's why. I have this guy out.
Yeah. So Gaston can do a lot of work. You also don't want to leave any of the Mufasa deck characters damaged. Anytime you're playing Amber and against an Amber deck, you don't want to leave characters damaged because they will play Rapunzel and heal that character.
But here's a problem with Rapunzel. I mean, with Gaston. Gaston has to be exerted. So that's why I'm hoping I get a Judy Hop so I can
Unexert him.
unexert him.
Or a little Simba to play as a bodyguard, right?
I don't have little Simbas in my deck.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
No, I just have Simbas.
Oh.
Big Simbas.
So those are also popular, but the really the next big kind of group, and I'm just going to kind of lump these all together, are the Amethyst and something decks. I put Ruby off to its side because that seems to be the most powerful of these, I think. But Amethyst Steel, Amethyst Emerald, even Amethyst Sapphire, the rest of the Amethyst decks, basically you're taking the core Amethyst package where you have the bouncing, you have the card draw. It's mostly an Amethyst deck. And then they splash the other colors in. So you've got the steel removals, you've got the blue ramping, or you've got the green pain in the butt cards.
I have a feeling, why do I feel like that steel works with every color?
Because it kind of
It
does.
kind of can. I mean, steel can work with most colors, and amethyst can work with every color.
Yes.
There is a viable amethyst X deck
Yep.
that exists for everything. The only color pair I don't think has ever fully the biggest color pair that doesn't work is like red and steel because you get no card draw. And
Amber and sapphire would be hard.
Amber Sapphire people have had a little bit of success with.
Yeah.
But that's definitely on the bottom, right?
I used to play that.
Amber sapphire. Oh,
Yeah,
Really?
in set 1 and set 6.
Okay.
So the amethyst cards just gotta be real. You just gotta be cognizant of the bouncing. You have to be, especially the fox, right? That fox is gonna bounce in. He's gonna eat your people.
Yep.
And then they'll make something to bounce him out again. So.
And also rabbit with the card draw. Like
Yep.
if you can get rid of that rabbit, like yes, you're probably thinking, oh, I'll leave the rabbit out there because otherwise he'll get a card. No, because if he has a fox, he's gonna bounce it, get a card, and then play it again and get a card.
Yeah, you basically, if you don't kill it, then it's going to get 2 more. You think it's only going to get, he's only going to get 1 card, but I think it's actually going to get 3 cards. Because he's going to bounce back, and then he can get played again, where he's guaranteed another 2 cards.
How many cards are you, how many cards is the max amount of cards that a rabbit can get?
60. Well, actually, how many is in your...
I mean, like 30, I don't know. Like, how many other times you can bounce them? Like, we could do the math, but I'm not going to.
And then the other thing, too, is, like, goat. Like, a lot of people will think, oh, I'll just leave the goat there because if I get rid of it, it gains a lore. Every time he quests, he gets a lore.
Malcolm, I
So
dare
get
you.
rid of it right away, so that way he's only getting the 1, because he's going to get the 1 no matter what.
Malcolm, I have a challenge for you.
I'll let Dad finish on it.
Or he's going to get bounced, gain the lore, then play it again, gain another lore.
Exactly.
More. So you got to get rid of the goats. You got to get rid of rabbits. And, of course, we are in the era of the Genie Wars. Where
The Genie Wars!
Yes, we are all brave contestants in the Genie Wars. The 2/4 evasive replaces himself when you play him. It is a tough card to deal with, and a lot of decks are built around dealing with that. So choosing other colors
One of the reasons I put Cinderella back in.
Yeah, so choosing cards that aren't amethyst kind of help you with that, because everyone's tech to beat genies, and if you don't have genies, then they've got all that tech that doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But Cinderella is an evasive.
Big
That's-
Cinderella.
Why are they building tech
No,
against me?
she's not evasive, but she can sing big songs. And also that's also why I have Ariel, the big Ariel in my deck, because she can do 3 damage on anybody.
I think you should just remove that because my genie's really bad. My genie actually only has 1 strength, and yeah. So
The only quest for -1, and no one likes him. Don't beat up on Malcolm's genies.
yeah.
So that's for sure what you're going to see. There could be more changes this weekend from Continentals. Maybe someone finds some new spice.
I can't wait till that Pirate Piglet Oswald combo deck. The Amber Sapphire Pirate Piglet Oswald deck wins it. Everyone's playing that.
I don't, buddy. I don't think it's gonna happen, man.
I think it will.
I don't think so. Oh man, I forgot to get a trivia card.
We can do some of my trivia.
No, that's all right,
thank
buddy.
you.
That's all right.
Can
I'll just give you one trivia.
is it?
What kind of
Right
trivia
here.
question? Yeah,
The
let me
bottom,
give it to
that
you.
one. Can you get it out?
No. Just can I-
Sorry, our shelves have been taken over by
Dad.
One shelf.
one entire shelf.
Also, Dad, just for me pulling that out, you all owe me one Lorcana question.
Nope, buddy. Hey, let's keep it down.
Okay.
And let's do our trivia questions that we have here.
What are you showing?
Just like normal.
Oswald.
What do you got?
It's Oswald.
Oswald
Rhea.
in the cover. Fair enough. Okay, from the wonderful world of Disney trivia, it is trivia time. Hey, I organized all of our board games pretty
did.
nicely.
They look very
Everything's
nice.
back on the shelves. They're kind of mostly together. We gotta play some of these sometime. Okay, so
Then stop playing Lorcana for a second.
what circus act is Madeline skilled at in The Hunchback of Notre Dame 2?
Trapeze.
There was a 2?
Yeah, there's a 2.
I love Hunchback of Notre Dame. I did not even know.
You never guess what.
You, I'm gonna guess trapeze.
You never guess. You never guess. It's straight to VHS.
Does I didn't think it had a happy ending. Does it have a happy ending? Yeah?
You're never gonna guess this. It went straight to VHS.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay, so we got trapeze. Anything else?
VHS. No, Chris Pratt.
No, what type of circus act is the question?
Oh,
So
it's
guess
a
a circus.
skibbity toilet.
All right, your
hate
mic
you.
is gonna get turned off.
No,
in a
no,
minute.
no.
Emmett, stop.
Stop.
Please say a real circus act.
An elephant escaping the tent
Okay.
to go to the
All right,
jungle.
it's tightrope. We're gonna move on. All right. Who voices Mike Wazowski in the Monsters Inc. and Monsters University
Chris
films?
Pratt.
It's Billy Crystal.
Yes.
Now wait, now you have to sing. What does he sing?
I would have nothing if I did not.
Actually, that's not him. That's John Goodman who voices Sully.
I mean, he sings in that
He
song.
does. That's not that part
Not
though.
that part, no.
That's the good one.
Ow, I should have stretched.
Yes, that is Billy
There you
Crystal.
go. All right. During the song "Mine, Mine, Mine" in Pocahontas,
Uh-oh.
what are the settlers digging for?
Bye.
For people. Pocahontas.
Gold?
Yes, gold. There we go.
Oh, I thought it was
Good job.
diamonds.
Well, based on the era,
Yeah.
historically.
All right. True or false? In
Uh-oh.
Raya and the Last Dragon, when Sisu is human, her hair is a spiky pink style.
False.
False. We know what it looks like because it's on the stupid Lorcana card.
It's gray.
I don't like that card.
Is
No,
it
it's a
gray
blue.
or
It's
silver or blue?
Yeah, it's blue, white,
blue.
violet color.
I see
Blue
the
violet, yeah.
Messy.
Messy and long. And
I know it because it's on the stupid Lorcana card that always kills my
It always
daisies.
kills my daisies and my Cinderellas and my little Robin Hoods. Exactly. That
I
card that we
never-
just talked
I
about
don't-
hating.
I don't
You
like
gotta
them.
watch out for it.
I don't like
I never
dragons.
see Ruby cards these days.
Except for Melisfin. I like Melisfin.
I never
She's a
see
goat.
Ruby
So-
cards these days.
Okay, she's a goat
Goat.
dragon.
We had this whole conversation.
Anyway,
Okay. Who is the hero in A Bug's Life?
I think it's
Okay,
what's
he's not going to say anything real. So
Malcolm, what is it? I know the answer.
It's Fleck.
It's Flick.
it's Flick.
I was trying to
Which,
think of.
by the way, we opened a Flick
I was
during
trying.
our Advent calendar.
I was trying to think of the grasshopper's name.
Okay, so we opened a Flick during our Advent calendars. If you haven't noticed, I don't know how many Dad uploaded to our Instagram account, but
I uploaded a bunch.
while TikTok is still alive, if you want to find us on TikTok, the boys opened up a whole bunch of Lorcana cards for Advent calendar, and Matt was able to get an equal amount of all 6.
It had a very emotional ending.
Very emotional ending.
Yes, you need to watch
But
it.
anyway, so not only did we open Lorcana cards, but the boys also opened some Disney Doorables. And Flick was one of them. So feel free to watch that. Find us on Instagram. You can watch some of them on there. We'll probably be moving everything over to maybe our YouTube account or Blue Sky or
We'll see.
Instagram. Maybe we'll find out in a week.
Oh, some guy might buy it too, so we'll see. So, anyways, with that, we'll bring our show to a close.
Bye-bye for now.
Next week, I'm sure we'll have some news to discuss with the Continentals this
I'm
week,
hoping so.
since they announced a whole bunch. They announced the next 2 sets at the last
The European,
Continentals.
yeah.
I have to imagine we're going to see some new cards.
I
or
want
get
a
some
new
release date.
card. I want to see if it's true that there's going to be a Jafar thing.
We'll go over any of that news next week and see what we learn from Continental, what new decks we see who wins, see who's going on to Worlds, and who gets to take a trip to Disney World.
Disney World.
Can I go Disney World? No.
Yeah, can I go to Disney World?
No, I might take you,
Yay!
but you gotta pump it.
I'm gonna sneak in a suitcase.
Me
They
too.
X-ray them. It's gonna look like we're transporting bones, and we're gonna get questioned. Then
Well,
we're gonna charge for something, and then we'll probably have to stop.
Oh, I
everything.
do have a Delta Amex, so they might like that.
That might get you through. Maybe you can store people if you have a Delta Amex. That
Or maybe you could just lie to them and say you're a scientist.
yeah, these are my bones. These are my science bones. Anyways, that's enough of that. Thank you so much for listening.
If you
you
made it
still
this
are.
far, I don't know. Just
The kids are a little bit, well, one kid in particular is a little bit nuts this week. He's fallen out of like his podcast discipline. I feel sorry for his teachers. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching.
What do you mean? I've been perfect to my teachers.
Oh, he leaves it all for us.
Yeah.
And for you.
We get the craziness here at home,
Yes.
live on QuestLore. Please find us on any podcast platform. Wherever you find us, please rate, follow, like, subscribe, thumbs up, comment, whatever. Whether it's on YouTube as our video version or if it's on an audio version, please leave reviews, please leave comments, please leave likes. We truly do appreciate it. For questions, you can send them to questlorequestions@gmail.com. And that is all for today. So good night.
Take with you, Master Dragon, follow Lorcana